Do you want Chris Jones to re-sign with the Kansas City Chiefs? Well, let me know if you want him back in 2024 by commenting on today's video. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Do you want Chris Jones back? That's the topic of today's show. Let's get rolling right here on the Chiefs Report. Appreciate you watching as always. I'm your host, Jace, and today's show, will the Kansas City Chiefs re-sign Chris Jones in 2024? This is the talk of the offseason. This will be the talk until something happens with Chris Jones in Kansas City or Chris Jones and somebody else. This will be the rumor, and ultimately, it's already started even just a couple of days into the offseason for the Kansas City Chiefs. So let's get going on here, and let's first talk about why Chris Jones is such a big deal, and ultimately why he is going to be valued at a really high number this year. And that's because, well, the past 2 years, he has been the best interior defensive lineman in the National Football League. You talk about 2022 and the season he had 15.5 sacks, 4 pass breakups, 17 tackles for loss. He followed that up with a 10.5 sack year, 4 pass breakups, 13 tackles for loss. This guy continues to get better and better, and he shows why he is the best interior defensive lineman in the NFL. I don't want to hear Aaron Donald. I don't want to hear Jeffrey Simmons anymore. It's Chris Jones. And I'm telling you, Stone Cold wants his money. He deserves his money. What exactly is that price, though? Well, as of right now, he has been labeled as a $30 million a year type guy. Now, this has been the thought process since almost 3-4 months ago. Everybody's known this. Chris Jones even talked about it with Adam Schefter, saying, I want this amount of money. I would like $30 million. He wants to be the highest paid interior defensive lineman in the National Football League. Now, this was all before the season, though. As the season went on, we kind of saw an emotional change in him. And I think from the Bengals game on, that Chris Jones maybe not so much worried about the money. Well, obviously wants to get his bag, which he 100% deserves. But maybe there's a little bit of a discount for the home team that he's been playing with for his entire career. That's good because right now the Kansas City Chiefs, well, their cap space is not exactly in the greatest spot. Right now, it's sitting around $22.8 million at 2024. Now, they could increase that number. Do not think that's what it's going to stick at. They have a lot of things they could do. They could obviously restructure Mahomes' contract, which I expect to happen in the near future. They could cut some players. We talked about Marquez Valdes-Scantling. There's a couple of guys. Ultimately, MVS is probably going to save you the most money. But there's some guys where we could see them just kind of pop off the charts and say, hey, we're not going to pay you anymore. Guess what? More money to spend on Chris Jones and a couple of other free agents, which goes to that third point. There's going to be a lot of free agents that the Kansas City Chiefs want to keep. When you win a Super Bowl, you want everybody back. The top two, though, once again, we've shown this before, and I continue to say it, Chris Jones and L'Jarius Sneed may be the top two guys that they want to keep back. Now, I'm going to go on my prediction bag, and I don't think this will happen, but who knows? I don't know if Mike Danner, Willie Gay Jr., or Donovan Smith will re-sign. That's kind of my inclination right at the moment right now, just because of how much they value Chris Jones and L'Jarius Sneed. I say that, though, to say everybody on the right side, Mike Edwards, Drew Tranquill, Jerick McKinnon, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Tommy Townsend, I kind of expect every one of them to sign back in some form or fashion. Mike Edwards may be the one, but again, I'm saying this because I've heard it from multiple organizations, and Adam Schefter even said it on a couple things that we're going to show you here in just a minute. They expect to retain a majority of their players. What exactly does that mean? We don't really know. And what is a majority? I don't know. I have a lot of players on contract. Is that what they meant? Is it they expect to sign back all the free agents? We don't know. But ultimately, all we can do is sit here and kind of talk about it and talk about the money they have. Given the restructuring of Patrick Mahomes' contract that we can see coming in the next couple of days, maybe weeks, we'll figure it out. Well, they're probably opening some space to try and make sure they have a lot of money to sign those guys back, and hopefully one of them is Chris Jones. But I will say this. If you want to know when the Chiefs re-sign a player, well, then guess what? Hit that subscribe button because we'll have a video right away. They re-signed Chris Jones, video coming out. They re-signed L'Jarius Sneed, we'll have a video coming out. Drew Tranquill, anybody. We got videos on lock every single day of the year right here on the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. So hit that subscribe button today because we have the best offseason coverage on YouTube on your Kansas City Chiefs. I mentioned L'Jarius Sneed. I also want to keep him, which that's where the money could get a little tight. Because if you franchise tag L'Jarius Sneed, which they have been talking about doing, that's going to be around $20 million. And so you're talking $60 million in cap space if you restructure Patrick Mahomes' contract, say you cut a couple people, you maybe get that to 70, that's at best, then you're using 50 of it on 2 players. I don't know how exactly that's going to be done. But I like the way Brett Veach said it, because he said this talking about keeping both Jones and Sneed. Sometimes I look at our situation and I'm like, I don't know how we're going to do this. But we usually work through things systematically and have a list of the priorities. It seems as though they want and they will get both. What that happens, though, is how will that cost them? Will they be able to sign a free agent and say T. Higgins, Marquise Brown, Calvin Ridley? Will they have to go to the draft for their wide receiver help? That's where the questions come in, because right now, the top priority for the Kansas City Chiefs, you just won a Super Bowl. Keep everybody you can, and then worry about what holes are needed to be fixed. Obviously, though, in some ways, wide receivers are a hole that is open, that you were able to win the Super Bowl with that hole. Every team's going to have something they need to work on. Chiefs, it's probably wide receivers. Offensive line has been pretty great. They're only losing Donovan Smith. It's just going to kind of depend on the money. So we'll have to see about that. But again, we talked about them keeping the team intact. That's just not me spitballing. I'm not the one saying I'm not saying this from, my perspective. I'm saying it literally from the top NFL reporter, at least one of them, Adam Schefter. He was on Pat McAfee's show just a couple days ago saying the Chiefs are going to run it back with a lot of this team intact. He goes on to say, when we're talking about Chris Jones, I don't think Chris Jones is going to want to leave unless there's some huge offers out there. And why wouldn't he? He's a Super Bowl champion, and he is a legend here in Kansas City. Speaking of Super Bowl champions, make sure you're getting your gear because we got it right in the description, chatsports.com/Super Bowl. Got the home of the chrome shirts. Me and Sam both agreed, underrated shirt. This is super nice. Back-to-back champions, home of the chrome for the Lombardi Trophy. We like that a lot. You want the ones the players wore on the field, though? Guess what? The link also has that. Super Bowl champions. It's super awesome. I know that they had the short sleeve. They also have long sleeves. They got men's, women's, all sizes. And like I'm telling you, go get your gear because we're Super Bowl champions and we're the only team in the NFL that can say it. And I know, hey, you want your Super Bowl championship gear, but you're not really a shirt guy. You're not want that. You want a hat. Guess what? We got that in the link as well. These hats are sick. I actually bought one today using my link, chatsports.com/Super Bowl. Go down there, use that link. It's super awesome. I'm going to get me one of these hats. I already bought it today. It's going to be coming in. I'm going to show y'all when I get it too. So I appreciate all of y'all. And again, go check them down there, chatsports.com/Super Bowl. Get your championship gear today. All right, let's talk about this and kind of how exactly Chris Jones is going to work. My whole take on the situation. Chris Jones, earlier this year, his holdout was something that we almost forgot about. And we thought that there was no chance that he was going to stay in KC. But now, after we had that whole thing with McAfee talking about how he doesn't want to leave, everything's kind of changed. And the people that were saying he had no chance to stay in KC, well, they're questioning themselves. Hand up. That was me. I thought he was not going to be able to stay here. Let's go through the timeline of what happened, because I think we all forget. On July 22nd, Jones began his holdup by not reporting to training camp. September 7th, he missed the first game of the season. He was not there. Well, he was. He was just in the booth with his 2 mob boss agents on the right and left. Then, just a couple days later, he ended his holdout after threatening to sit out until week 8. And then guess what? It worked out because on February 11th, just a couple days ago, he won the Super Bowl for the 3rd time in his career. Super Bowl champion, just the same amount of time as Patrick Mahomes. It doesn't look like he wants to leave now, does it? I don't know about that. That picture looks pretty nice to me. And if you see the video, that looks even better. I mean, I'm telling you right now, this doesn't look like a face of a guy who wants to leave Kansas City anytime soon. And I know that there's a lot of hoorah behind contracts and whether or not it's going to work out, but I think if you take a step back and you see him from the first 11, 12, 13 weeks of the season to now, it's a very different Chris Jones. And I think that maybe because the Chiefs want to pay him. I think last year he was concerned because the Chiefs didn't want to pay him, or at least that's what he thought. But I think Brett Veach was trying to almost hold it off until now. So we'll see. But guess what? Andy Reid got to talk about him. He said this a couple days ago about Chris Jones and his return in 2024 and potentially beyond. Veach has said it before. We'd love to have him back. We just got to work all that out. The effort will be there on both sides to work some of that out. I asked you if you wanted him back. I want you to become a reporter. I want you to become a non-biased person taking wanting or not wanting him out of this. What will happen? What is going to happen? I want you to be the prediction here and let me know. Will the Chiefs re-sign Chris Jones? If you think it will happen and that the deal will get done, then I want you to type R for re-sign. If you're thinking, no, I don't think the deal's going to get done, I don't think that it's going to work out, then type P for pass. The Chiefs will pass on him. Let me know in the comment section again. This is not, want him or not. I want you to be a predictor here and tell me what is going to happen. R for re-sign, P for pass. No matter what happens, again, we'll have you covered right here on the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. He re-signs with the Chiefs, we'll have a video. He passes, he goes somewhere else, we'll have a video. No matter what, the offseason is full of a lot of awesome stuff, and I want you to be a part of it. So hit that subscribe button and join us right here on the Chiefs Report. Chiefs Kingdom. Peace out.